And we are back. Wayne Chrebet and me, some Jet X dude, grades on the draft. It's Aaron Glenn's first draft, Aaron Muji. Wayne, that's the title of this show. Will you give it a letter grade? What do you think? First of all, what are your first impressions of Aaron Glenn, your former teammate's first draft?
Well, I could tell by the first impression, by the first pick, there was no
Yes.
question. They got the guy they wanted, the whole time. The pressures of people wanting Warren or to move around, make this is the guy they wanted. And the kind of player he is. He's a mauler, he's got attitude. That's the kind of guy he wants on his team. And you could see that follow pick after pick. The common trait they had was that they're all tough guys, team guys. So we'll go over them one by one, but starting from the first pick, I think they did an excellent job taking not only the best available, but a major need on the team.
Yeah, so I was there. I was there Thursday night. Wasn't there Friday, wasn't there Saturday.
Right.
So didn't hear the quotes. I wasn't on every live presser, but what I did hear and what I saw and what I read, it felt like every pick Glenn and Muji made had a purpose behind it, like an identity. Each guy serves a purpose in terms of what they want to be. Membu on the right side of the line, they're going to lead the league in rush attempts. He's the classic mauler on the right side, and he's confident. And his quote, we'll get into it. I'll share the screen. He just wants to destroy the other dude. And I think Glenn saw that, and that's what he really wanted.
That's the thing that, people realize, like, oh, no, you need a blindside tackle. That's the big position. Everybody knows about that. You need someone protecting your backside.
Yeah.
But in this offense, I don't know if people understand the right tackle is just as important because you're running downhill with this guy. This is the guy you're going to be following. Who's your right guard right now?
We've got AVT.
Okay. Yeah, look at those two guys, young on the right side. You run behind them, 30 times a game?
It's pretty good.
Yeah, you're going to be making some yardage and certainly plays off the play action. And Fields can really bootleg left too. He can go either way. So yeah, that was a great first pick. There was no chance of doing anything silly. Take them and go to the next round.
Yeah, it was. It was kind of. I always thought Membu the whole time. I've been on record saying that, but it was close with Warren. Like the tight end, it made some sense in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
yeah.
Listen,
go ahead.
If we got Warren at 7. Our next pick would be nothing close to Mbappe.
Dude, you're reading my mind.
You're reading my mind. 7. What did we get? The second best tight end, third best tight end? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Right there. So yeah. So going in that order was much, much better than it would have been if you did it Warren first.
Yeah, that's it. The depth with the tight end is always solid guys there in the mid round, not mid rounds, but second round, third round, even mid round.
Right.
So let's get to the quote first. Let me share my screen. We'll get to the Membu quote and then we'll go. Are people joining? Yeah, they're coming in. Yeah, it's my fault. I didn't schedule it earlier. All my fault. I would blame Wayne, but I wouldn't be able to get away with it. It was all my fault for not scheduling it earlier. I've been running around like a madman.
Yeah, I was watching the Yankees hit back to start the game.
Dude, what is the record? Does that tie a record?
I think they did game 1 too.
You think what?
The first game of the year when they scored like 20 runs. I think they did that in the first inning too.
Let me see. What's the record for consecutive home runs?
In the first game of the year, I think they hit the first 3 guys hit home runs.
Oh damn it, that's not the right record. 31 consecutive games with a home run. No. Home runs for a team back to back, belly to belly. John Sterling is gone, unfortunately. And I can't find it, but I'll shoot you. Someone will find it out there. But let's get to the quote because I love this quote here for everyone seeing the screen. It's an article I wrote yesterday, was it? Yeah, yesterday. And dude, the picks, they're all identity driven. They're all in the mold of Glenn, in my mind. Membu, it signals what they are. That mauler on the right side, they're going to run the hell out of the ball. I don't know if they're going to lead the league in rushing, but they're going to be up there because Fields, his 800,000 yards is going to add to it. I think they're going to be in the top 3 in rush attempts.
Yeah.
And then here's Membu's quote. The quote, "The Jets are getting a mauler in the run game and someone very consistent in the passing game." And this is right after he got taken. "Whatever they need me to do, it doesn't matter. Just run behind me." The dude, he had a smile on his face and he was confident. And Muji said this too. And he wasn't prompted by a question. He said this. He's a kid who's comfortable in his own skin.
Right. Yeah, you gotta love all that. Like I
Yeah.
said, exactly. And here's a we'll go through the rest of it, but why are the offensive line? To go to Jay, the Jets motivator. Look, put in the list what our starting offensive line is right now. Put that up at 721 comment.
What's the starting
About
offensive line?
About our line, how it was made up of, and the talent on and now compared to what we had.
It's Fashanu on the
Yeah.
left side.
Yeah.
Let's see. Fashanu on the left side. John
Fashanu
Simpson,
was first round pick.
Simpson
was a priority free agent signing, right?
Yep.
Pittman was a second round pick.
I forgot what round he was, but yeah. Tittman.
Yeah. And then second round pick, and Veer Tucker was a first round pick. And now Membu was a first round pick.
Those
are some,
that's talent. Yeah.
guys, man.
That's a lot of talent on the O-line. Dude,
if
this coaching staff could coach, they're going to be really good.
Yeah.
And they stay healthy.
Yeah.
Fashanu got hurt at the end of the year, and AVT, we know his injury history. So if they could stay healthy and they know how to coach, it's going to be a good unit.
I think I heard this comment, someone wrote it too, that Nick Saban said not landing tight end Mason Taylor was the biggest recruiting mistake he ever made during his time at Alabama.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I think it's on Jets X Factor too. And Nick, if you hear Saban, he doesn't say that a lot.
Yeah. So, I'm not saying coming in the expectations are high, but looks like he had, 130 catches, 1,300 yards, most productive tight end in LSU history. Yeah. This guy's a stud, man. Good genes too.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Jason Taylor's son. How about that? That is a football family right there.
Right.
And
isn't he married to Zach Thomas's sister? Something
Jason
like that?
Taylor is, yes.
Yeah.
So Mason Taylor's mom is Zach Thomas's sister.
Yeah. There you go. Welcome to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. If they need a linebacker, they could throw him in on defense every now and then.
Yeah.
So we got where was I here? Yeah, okay. So we got Armand Membu number 1, Taylor number 2. Membu identity fits the whole thing. Actually, let's bring up a different list. The graphic doesn't do it justice with the info.
See the schools though, just all top ranked, schools, great programs.
You think the Southeastern Scout deserves a raise or what?
Wow.
I mean, holy cow.
Any big surprises? Were any of these people completely not mentioned in the topics? I don't remember hearing Mason Taylor's name much.
He wasn't talked about in terms of like the top 3. Some people did, but he was always there in the top 5 the whole time.
I didn't think that. I think it was Warren or maybe a receiver somewhere. I don't think there was an alternative to Warren. I never heard that name. Maybe it was that
Loveland, Colston Loveland.
Yeah. But no, looking at when I saw his game film, Mason Taylor, I was like, wow, how I've not really heard too much about him. And then I can see why they took him at number 2.
Yes, and Loveland is more. I think he's a better receiver, pass catcher, like possession guy than Warren. But Warren's a better dual threat guy. He could do both much better. He could run block and he could catch it. So you got Mason Taylor second, and then third, this kid. I'm just calling him AZ because I have no idea how to pronounce his name. He didn't run a fast 40, Wayne. He was like 4.5 something at his pro day, at the Florida State pro day. but he fits Glenn in terms of wanting physical corners. He could
Right.
press, he could bail, he could trail. He's good with his hands. So he's not fast, but he's like Sauce in terms of the size and the physicality at the line. And that matches what Glenn loves to do with blitzing. And so again, this is another pick like Membu that fits the coaching.
Gotcha. Yeah. And he's talking a big game already. I like that. Like you said,
I didn't even hear what he said. What did he
you
say?
know, just he's going to come in and what he can do on his side of the field
Okay.
and stuff like that. But
Yeah, he's
that's the
confident.
kind of guy you want. I mean, he's coming from a school that's pretty good corners. So yeah. And then I know more about watching the kid from Georgia. Look like he really, he doesn't run a lot of routes, but the ones he does, double moves and just flat out going. I know what he ran in the combine, but yeah, they say some drops are here and there, but they say that everybody coming out.
Yeah, I want to get your thoughts on this one because this is the pick, and when Jets fans are bitching about a 4th round pick, it kind of went well, but this is the pick Jets fans are upset about because a lot of mocks, a lot of draft experts, so-called experts in quotes, had him as like a 6th round grade. And I understand why. He dropped a lot of passes.
Right.
But again, I don't view him in the 4th round as a potential receiver 1. I view him as something they needed badly, which is speed at receiver. Because if you need a guy to go vertical, to take the top off and back up the safeties in the corners so Fields could work underneath with Garrett and Mason Taylor and even Brees out of the backfield. And you want that fast guy to get the DBs to get their head turned so Fields could scramble. So I think Jets fans have to look at it like that. How important is it to have that vertical guy who could back up the D? And that's kind of how I view this guy.
I don't, not body type wise, as far as what you're looking for in the system, equivalent of like a Dedrick Ward, how me and Keyshawn would be on one side of the field, or we line him outside just to keep everybody honest.
Yeah.
You're thinking, not having a great game, and every game you look and he's, 2 for 70 and 35, 40-yard catch. And it serves a purpose. And you don't have to go and catch. You don't need 10 targets and 6 catches.
No, that's not him. Yeah.
You need somebody to clear the top so we can run routes underneath him, this and that. And he's going to surprise you every now and then because the corner's going to squat on him.
Mm-hmm.
And Dedrick goes for 60 yards at Buffalo. He goes for 50 yards, 70. That's the kind of guy this is a guy going to be.
Yes.
He doesn't have to go in there and make every play, but the ones he do are going to be special.
Agreed. Was Dedrick fast, by the way? Was he a burner?
He was really fast.
I don't remember
being short, choppy steps, but he was really fast. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's how you gotta. And did they reach technically based on the board? Sure, of course. But once you get to the 4th round, dude, if you like a guy and he fits, you got to take him. He ran the 3rd fastest 40 time out of all receivers. I think it was tied for 10th 10th out of any player at the combine. It's tough.
Yeah.
Dude, jet motion too. He might be the jet motion guy. The way I look at it is Josh Reynolds is going to start because he's the best blocker as a receiver. And then on 3rd downs, 3rd receiver, 4th receiver, this kid's going to come in and do his thing deep. Yeah,
he's not, like I said, he's not going to be a high volume guy.
Yeah.
But I think Dedrick was like a 4th round pick. But, we always talk about me, Lavernius, and Santana. But if you go back and look at the stats of me, Key, and Dedrick, we have pretty good stats together, the 3 of us.
Yeah.
If you throw him into the mix. So you always need a guy like that.
Yeah, Dedrick's yards per catch must have been through the roof.
Yeah.
All right. So where did we leave off here? We got Aaron. And by the way, and again, another kid with a good attitude. 6 foot, 179, not the biggest. He's a former track star. But when you look at track stars, they have the straight line speed. Do they have the hips? He seems like he has the hips. Like he could move and plant and cut. So, and he's not afraid of contact. Yeah.
Let me tell you this. For everybody's a draft expert or whatever, if you watch this film, depends what channel you're watching the film on.
Yeah.
If you're watching the film and they control the narrative and the editing, they're going to show his good plays and talk about them, and then they're going to show his bad plays and say, well, we also know this about him. Well, you only knew it because the director told you we were putting it up there. If you show all of his drops, you're going to think he drops a lot. If you show all his good plays, I understand the drops and I see them, and everybody has drops. But when you see, say, half dozen of his plays, and you're like, well, those might be his own catches. It's just the way he runs them, the way he runs the route, body control when he catches it, hand catch, eyes on the ball, high point, this and that. You could be like, all right, he has the potential to do that more. But sometimes you see film and like, yeah, they'll show massive amount of catches and runs, but versus lesser talent or, whatever the case is, body catching or just not great routes. What they showed he doing in college, he can do in the pros. That doesn't track with every receiver you see out there just because he has drops. That doesn't matter. It's like a risk reward. So don't listen to the thing about the drops.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Does that improve? I think personally it can, and it does. And especially when a coach puts you in the right spot, like Aaron Glenn, and you know this better than me, I'm sure. He said it at the first time, accountability doesn't come without, what was it? Direction. Like the guys have to not be confused about what their role is. He's going to know exactly what his role is, and it's not going to be starter. It's going to be specific.
Right. Yeah. Everybody's got a role, but like I said, just seeing his successful plays versus that, kind of competition, that talent. I just think he can make those plays in the NFL.
Yeah, and he's fluid, man. He really is. Shoot. All right. So next on the list, what do we got here? Is Malachi Moore, safety in the box, and Jets fans love this one even more than Smith. I mean, they were befuddled how Smith went before Moore. Yeah, I think this kid has a chance to start right away as a strong safety with Cisco as the free safety. He's going to be, I don't want to say monster because he's a 4th round pick. He still has a lot to prove, but I think he's going to fit Glenn really well. He can tackle. He's not afraid. He's physical. Can he cover enough? I think might be the question.
Right. Well, like you said, you're coming down to round 4 now, which is still, guys could be starters, but now you're filling roles right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who they can be up? Like I said, come from a great program. And then I guess we stayed on the defense the last 3 picks, huh?
And we got 2 Miami Hurricanes, Francisco Maioga. I've not figured that one out yet, his name. And Tyler Barron, a linebacker, Maioga. And this was a need. They needed a heavier type linebacker. And Muaga, how much does he weigh? He's like 234 or something. I'm not too familiar with him yet, but I think he's a heavier type guy who has no problem filling and spilling. And then Barron is like a 260 something pound edge.
Gotcha. So in free agency or the draft, or we'll get into undrafted guys. Did we fill the need at D tackle? I
gotta check.
We were looking at Mason Graham, and we didn't go after him. Did we fill that need at all?
I gotta check the UDFAs, but in the draft, no. And that was the one thing. Rivka, I saw you chatting on the comments. Let us know if the Jets picked up any promising UDFAs at D tackle. I have not been up on the UDFAs the last 2 days. Here is Maioga, 233, 6'2". Yeah, he's, from what I know about him, he's a heavier dude in terms of linebacker. What's his ceiling? I don't know. 4'6", not crazy fast for a linebacker in today's league.
I saw something interesting. I don't know if this was true for next year. I guess we get 2 compensatory picks because of the Hassan Reddick and Tyler Conklin time. It's not big news, but it looked like we get 2 picks from that.
Yeah, it would make sense. And Rivka, again, I'm shouting her out. She's one of the JetX editors. Her specialty salary cap and financial stuff. She's a wizard at it.
Gotcha.
Let us know. I think that's true. We're going to be looking at, the Jets are going to be looking at some
$17 million loss on those 2 picks. On those 2 guys. So.
Yeah, so it adds up. Here's the UDFAs right here. Quentin Skinner's the big name. Donovan Edwards, also running back Michigan. Here are the UDFAs for those
Right.
just listening. Jordan Clark, corner, my Notre Dame Irish. Nothing. Peyton Page, D tackle, and then Moba, West Virginia.
Any receivers?
What's that?
Any receivers or undrafted guys?
Let's see. Yeah, Quentin Skinner,
Right.
Kansas.
Well,
Let's
that's
check
the guy
him
you're
out.
talking about? Yeah. All right.
And Demir Miller from Rutgers, who that's a long shot. But let's check out.
That's the first two I saw, but they didn't show positions. They just showed their college picture and like their number. I didn't know what position those two guys were.
Gotcha.
Good.
Yeah, so 2 UDFAs sharing the draft network now. Here we go. Quentin Skinner, Kansas.
Dude, Yankees are up 9-0.
What is the record? Dude, it can't be 5 consecutive home runs with that batters. That has to be the record. 4 in a row.
It was 4, and then 4, and then Rice hit his the fifth in the next inning. Oh, so, everybody wants to know, what was the feeling in chat? What was the feeling about Shedeur?
Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you that. Yeah,
a lot of opinions from different kind of people in the media. You know, positive ones, negative ones. You know, conspiracy theorists. You know what I mean?
I think people lost their minds, dude.
That was
a lot of media people lost their minds.
And there's so many trolls out there. You know, now the articles. The Toronto Argonauts took his rights now if he wants to play in Canada. So now, like, maybe they'll give him like crazy money to come. Come on, man.
That's nice press.
This was an astronomical slide in the draft, but
yeah,
you know, there's things behind it. But
yeah,
how did you feel watching that?
It's I can't lie and say it wasn't shocking. It was shocking to go to the 5th round. Let's be honest.
Right.
When I watched the film, I didn't understand why he was top 10 or even 1st round. I don't really see much there, but 2nd round, 3rd round for sure.
Yeah.
But dude, I think he acted a certain way in all these meetings. I think that's what happened.
It's, you know what it is? It's like, you know, there's going to be a paper trail of, you know, executives saying don't touch him. Listen, I saw a lot of things that said he wasn't even on people's boards. I mean, but at some point, you got to look and be like, all right, this makes no sense. You can't get hurt falling out of the 1st floor window. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just take a shot on the guy. So, yeah, smart move picking him up. I mean, instead of getting him at 2, they got him at what? You know, 5th round, number 2?
Mm-hmm.
Probably cost him $40 million if you look at the comparison in contracts.
Yes, and listen, I understand. Like guys like Rich Eisen, he's friends with Dion, so he's going to have his kids back. Yeah. But it's like any job interview. It really is. If you go in there and act a certain way, you know, teams aren't going to want to grab you.
Stories vary, but
they do.
I've seen him. You know, what they didn't like is, you know, they're saying the cologne. I don't know, the stupid stuff coming from the air, but
the what?
Like his cologne was too strong, or
I didn't even see that one.
The thing though is he always has his headphones around his neck.
Yeah.
And they kept saying to people, were like, whenever he was talking to coaches and this and that, they were always playing music, even though he didn't have them on his ears. That was something that was driving people nuts because they were talking to him and he wasn't really answering them. And that kind of like boys club just kind of rolled around. They're like, well, I'm not going to be dealing with it, you know. And I'm not saying it's personal, but I've never seen someone drop that bad in my life to the point where initially I was like, listen, I'm not a fan. You know, I root for certain kind of players, and you know, I want guys that I don't talk much. So I want, you know, I want guys that are like me, my kind of guys, the kind of guys we drafted, the kind of guys I played with. You know, he's coming out making more money than what they have now in the pros when he made it Colorado.
Yes,
so, I don't blame him for being confident, but once that happened and then that prank call,
yeah,
you know, that's terrible. But at that point, I just was like, this is kind of silly. I felt really bad for him, and you know, at that point, that's no kid deserves that. He's certainly better than 5th round talent or whatever it is. But Yeah,
Agree.
certainly shocking to say the least.
Yeah, and like people get like Rivka. I agree. He's not a fifth round. He should have been second or third for sure.
Yeah,
That was way too far. I honestly think it was the meetings, but yeah, it was rough.
yeah.
Nick started. They're down 9-2 early, and they're wearing their crappy uniforms. You know the ones where it has New York twice, and
Oh, is it? I didn't see it.
it's I don't understand these uniforms. Why do you wear these? They look ridiculous. Next time you look at the Knicks uniforms, like tonight, it has
Yeah.
New York, like you're seeing double. I don't get it. Drives me nuts. I'm an old man.
Why don't they wear the classics in the playoffs?
Beats
You know
me.
what I mean?
Yeah.
The classic,
Just wear the home whites.
yeah, or the old Ewing ones, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. The old NY, those are the best.
Yeah.
The early 90s NY.
Uh,
All right, get your final questions in here before we wrap it up.
There's something else I was looking at. So, do you have right now the up to date depth chart?
Yes.
I'm curious how we look depth wise and everything like that. So, any other big surprises in the draft?
From a Jets
Anybody?
perspective
Uh,
or
Lindor just
overall?
did a 2-run homer.
Who did?
Rivka said Lindor.
Lindor.
Yeah.
Yeah, those Mets, man. Those Mets are doing it without Soto.
This says Greg Rollo says something. Says we all know the way AG dumped Aaron Rodgers. He would have had nothing to do with the Shedeur clown show to start his tenure. This was the thing I said right away. Nothing has nothing to do with Shedeur. It has to do with the fact that I saw a quote from someone from right before the draft from the Steelers saying, "Yeah, we're still waiting from Aaron, or hope to hear from him soon," or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was a day ago, a couple of days ago before the draft, but it's like that's what we would have been doing. We wouldn't have Justin Fields. We'd be going in the draft, ringing Aaron. You coming, you staying, you retiring. What are you doing? And you go into the draft, and you're like, now we're in bad position. The fact that AG made the decision, signed Fields, we were done with that. If you were waiting on that guy right now, forget it. That's I knew that's what was going to happen to someone. Yeah, he can retire if he wants, but he's just leaving teams dangling. That's why other teams moved on. But you can see, like, I was still hoping, don't. Just forget about him, man. Just move on from him. I mean, AG immediately made that. That was the first decision he made, and that was the best one he made so far.
Yeah, I was going to ask you because I don't think we talked about that yet. Based on the way how Glenn responded to it when he was asked the question, it was
at the press conference.
Yes. After the Membu drafting, I was there. I forgot who it was, maybe Costello or from the Post or Samini, one of the two. He asked him, "We haven't talked to you since the Rodgers thing happened. What's your official response?" Last question of the presser, he goes, "I'm happy we have Membu," smiling, and that's it. Like he didn't even address it.
It don't matter. That doesn't exist in the 2025.
What were your thoughts about how it was purported to go down based on what Rodgers said?
Well, at the press conference, he said, smart. He didn't just say, "Well, we'll get to that." He said, "We're already in contact. We're having a conversation." Like it wasn't. They weren't going to wait. Like let him sit there and let him decompress from the season. No, we came in. You want to be here?
They did a little bit, which is admirable. But I hear you. You're right, 100%.
Yeah, the big thing is, they made him fly across country on his own dime to see him. They don't want him. All right, probably flew private to begin with. But I'm just saying, like, come on, man. You feel sore of your time with the Jets because we don't want you. We don't want to wait for you 2 months for you to tell us that you want to be with us. No, you don't want to be with us. You're done. Just chalk it up as a loss and go away. We did the same thing. We messed up 2 years. You got hurt. That stunk. That was terrible. But after that, the second year didn't work out. It just didn't work. The experiment didn't work. So just stop talking about it. Just go play for somebody else.
Yeah, and I think he will stop talking because he only had to say it once, and I don't see. My main takeaway is I don't care if it's true, how much he exaggerated.
Right.
Aaron Glenn probably was abrupt and said, "This is the way." Probably, but my
Right.
takeaway is that's fine. As the head coach, if you're gonna do that, that is 100% fine. That is who you are. You are unapologetic. You are confident. You know the way you want to go, and I understand as much as I keep telling people I don't think Rodgers is washed. I would have talked to him. I understand wanting to move on because it would have muddied communication. It would have. Like,
Right.
even if it wasn't Rodgers' fault, that his presence muddies communication from the head coach to the players. It
Yeah.
does.
So it was the right move. You know me, I get a little hot when we talk about that. Like I just
What's
want to
that?
talk about our team going forward, our coaches
Rodgers,
going
you
forward.
feeling it right now? You're getting angry at Rodgers?
Nah, just the whole situation. Like, stop talking about him. I don't
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
hear
yeah.
about him no more. It's stupid. It's just
Well,
stupid.
hey,
It's just stupid. It was a great decision to bring him in. Can't you can't say it wasn't. I'll still say that now. I mean, just the chance
yeah,
you
yeah,
give
yeah.
yourself with
You can't say, yeah,
one
exactly.
of the
You can't
best
say that.
top five ever gets hurt. That's crazy that he got hurt after 4 plays. But after that, it was just drama. It was just nonsense.
It might be something in the water in Florham Park because speaking of getting hurt, like we were just talking about the O line, stay healthy. That's what I want to see. These freaking guys staying healthy.
Yeah.
These 5 offensive linemen.
I'll take every guy you're highlighting, every guy in this list right here. These are the New York Jets for 2025. I will take every one of these guys.
Yeah.
I like
It's
every one of them. I like every one of the talent. If they weren't AD's kind of guy, they weren't my kind of guy. I like
yeah.
everybody who I've seen already and everybody who's coming. I'm excited about it. Lot to happen between now, mini camp, and training camp and the season. But I just like what we're feeling right now. That's all.
And
There's more like
listen,
a team than this is Aaron Rodgers and whatever. This is the
mhm,
New York Jets, not you know what I mean?
I
It's
do. Listen,
it's yeah.
listen, I'm fair. I've been fair the whole I understand wanting to move on
Yeah.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Get it.
This is Aaron Rodgers Jets. No, this is the New York Jets.
Mhm.
Now I'm happy
We'll
with it.
end on this with your expertise at receiver. The Jets fans who are worried about the receiver 2 situation after Garrett Wilson,
Right.
what would you say to them?
Well, I know Josh Reynolds a lot. I haven't seen him like I just watched a lot of film. I've seen him play. I watch a lot of football. Dude, he can play. He's been in the league. He's experienced. Certainly a guy that could help even with the young guys. Lazard was the wild card last year because I felt like he kind of went in the tank.
Yeah.
Um, the first season after Aaron got hurt, and then in the second season they were. But the fact that he wanted to stay, he could have went somewhere else.
He could have.
He's just a big body, man. He's just
He could
someone you
block.
could just throw the ball to. But I think not having Aaron there is actually going to help him. You know what I mean?
You
Now he's
could. It could. Yeah, to reset him. Yeah.
yeah. Well, now he's his attention's in the receiver room with the other receivers. Not
You know
that
what also? You know what
his best
also?
friend that was a quarterback. Why isn't he throwing me? Why is that? Now he's just like I said. There's no like.
No overthinking.
It's not clicky like that anymore. It was the Green Bay guys and kind of with the other. Just I don't know. I just think it's a
Here's a
better
real
mesh.
important takeaway too. You know how Malachi Corley had problems getting on the field last year? A lot of that has to do with Rodgers' system. You have to read the leverage in real time and adjust. It's not easy to get down. With Fields and this offense with Engstrand, I
Yeah,
guarantee you these young kids will have a much better chance of playing.
dude, this guy is a bull. This guy blocking, this guy coming around blocking with that up the right side or getting
Yeah.
a jet sweep, or you could put this guy freaking running back Malachi. That guy can run after the catch, man. I'm just saying,
You can have
everybody has
rushes.
a role here. There's no like not much crossover. That's what you want. You don't want three guys. You don't want you don't want three me's. You know what I mean? You need
Yeah.
different kind of like position players. You need a big, strong tight end. And you need a guy who could run. It's just how it is. They had too much of the same thing. Now they have a little more mix.
All right. Well, and on this one, I read an article back in 94, 95. It said you were a Beastie Boys. Who's not a Beastie Boys fan? Any
Beastie
truth?
Boys, man.
Yeah, Beastie Boys.
Yeah, that's probably from 94, 95.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
I was
right your college
that was
years.
25 years ago.
All right, my people. Wayne, send us off until next week.
Yeah. awesome that we did a show. Sorry, I got a little excited at the end. I just like my guys.
Oh, dude, they love it.
I like my
Dude,
guys.
anything I could do to get you excited, I'm gonna keep
Yeah,
doing. Don't worry
but
about it.
yeah, but like, subscribe, all that stuff. We are going to do a live Q&A because I read the questions and I can't get like the feeling of it, the temperament of what you're saying. Sometimes you can't get it on text, but
Yeah.
yeah, we'll set that up. But hope everybody liked the show.
All right, you got it. See you guys later.